I hate to say this, but I think that women have to lower their standards. Before you go crazy on me, just hear me out. The amount of chronically single girlfriends that I know, either approaching their 30s or already in their 30s, that are like wanting to settle down and have a family, but can't, is an epidemic at this point.
Yes. Gentlemen, hold the line. The reality of life is going to kick in hard for a lot of women really think that they're going to hold out for the top 2% of men, the top 10% of men. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today we want to talk about female standards. And it's just bizarre how ridiculous female standards are today. Listen, if you think that it's just playing out in social media, it's hyped, it's over the top. My friends, it isn't. It really isn't. Just yesterday alone, I had a private call with a young man, called me in from America. I'm just saying America because I don't want to disclose any more information. But this man was with this woman for 8 years. After 8 years and 2 kids, she decides that she can do better. This is it. Left this man. Had to sell the house that they had together. Had to literally rip the family apart. The only part that I got frustrated with him was 6 months later, she realized that she couldn't do better. She came back and he took her back. Fast forward another 2 years. Guess what? He's unhappy. She's not doing shit. There's no pleasing her. So, my friends, female standards have gotten so ridiculously high that it's just showing how impossible it is for relationships in today's modern society to survive. That's really what it's showing. Because the modern woman, and before we go on, I want you guys to start to look at what is a modern woman, because I was asked this question a while back and I had to think about it really hard. You know, the one thing I hate about the internet and especially Western society, we always have to come up with a very quick, concise elevator pitch to describe one event. For example, red pill, right? I don't want to go off topic, but just bear with me for a second. What is red pill? Now, I didn't know what the hell red pill was 4 years ago, 3 years ago, really, until, Mr. Kevin Samuels came along. I identified that I was taught all the things that he was considering red pill. And I don't even think he was using the word red pill. I think he was just telling you how to do shit, how men should live. But everybody was saying, this is red pill, red pill, red pill. It wasn't only until I started studying it more and more and realizing that brother, what's that gentleman, Rollo Tomassi, he's the one that actually coined the phrase red pill.
Red pill as a definition, again, is starting to get a little bit clouded. When I was first coming up and I was first writing my books and I was first writing the blog, I came up from a forum called So Suave, and I was a moderator on there. And I can show you posts from back in 2002 where we started making references to the Matrix, because the Matrix was an easy reference for people to understand. They could say, well, here's the red pill and here's the blue pill. And we didn't really even call it, you got red pilled and you got blue pilled. It was more about being unplugged. And it was being unplugged from your upbringing and where you had been raised into a feminine, to really to defer to the feminine, and to be educated in such a way where you are taking the feminine and you're putting the feminine up on a pedestal. Now, I'm going to get into this in the second talk, but just for sake of argument here, for when I'm referring to the red pill, I'm referring to intersexual dynamics only in this. Okay, I know a lot of guys from
men's knowledge, the knowledge of understanding female dynamics, because that's technically all red pill is learning female dynamics, not from the perspective of how society has pushed it on you, but the realities of it on the ground. That's red pill. But it's packaged. It's now packaged into this cocoon, and it's been diluted. It's the name itself has now become synonymous with incels and men who are not on track with society and conservative men and blah, blah, blah. The reality of it is it's been packaged. So we're now getting to that point where we use this term modern woman. Well, what the hell does that mean if every single woman who is now in this society and in today's day and age is modern, meaning they exist in this modern society. So technically, shouldn't every woman be considered a modern woman? That was the question that was hit at me. And I said no, because a traditional way of thinking basically put aside modern thinking. For example, if we look at the Amish, who literally shunned modern electric and modern appliances and modern technologies, and they're sticking to their old way of thinking, they still exist in this modern society, but they adhere to traditional ways of living. So what is a modern woman versus a traditional woman? And I was listening to Pearl Davis, and she came up with one of the best explanations that can be packaged. And I said, this is freaking brilliant, because it puts it together in a very simple term. A modern woman is a woman who puts herself ahead of her family. And we know the expression. A woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness. A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family. So even though Pearl defined it, a modern woman, as a woman who puts herself first, because that's the mantra. Well, I come first. It's about me first. But I want to add to Pearl's explanation what a modern woman is, and add this one point. The modern woman wants a man to stay traditional because it favors her. She's not prepared to favor him. In other words, she is always at the apex. She's always at the top. If it isn't pleasing her, she don't want it. That is a modern woman. A modern woman will sacrifice everything else for her happiness. And it's usually a delusional way of looking at life. It's a very narcissistic fashion of looking at life. I can show you tons of videos where women have told every single man, well, I come first. What are you going to do for me? What are you doing for me? Never do you ever see one of these videos where a woman says, this is what I want to do for my man. This is what I am going to do to you. This is what I bring to the table. None. So my friends, I just want us to understand that we are at this point where if women do not identify that they have created a different standard for themselves where there's no benefit to a man or to them even having a family, why do you think a man would want a relationship with you? Where is the incentive? This is what you ladies don't understand.
Wealthy, generous men who provide for me. That's all I've ever dated in my entire life. It's all I ever would. I'd rather be single than split bills.
What are you bringing to the table besides your body to these men who are taking care of you?
You'd have to ask them.
I'm asking you.
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. They're the ones who want to date me.
So from your perspective, what do you bring?
Me.
So what does that mean?
I mean, you'd have to ask someone who loves me why they love me. I'm not a mind reader.
No, I'm not asking you to be a mind reader. I'm just asking, you are on the other end of this relationship. I assume you know what you bring to the table of the relationship, right?
If somebody loves me, and I love them, then I keep dating them. I don't really worry about the why.
So you don't know what you bring to the table?
I don't really give it that much consideration.
Essentially, you're just giving them sex, and in exchange, they're giving you money, and that's it?
Hopefully not.
Well, then what else is there?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
And you think because you can throw on some freaking fake this and fake that and BBL and fake this, that your value is important, and then your standards are so incredibly outrageous, you don't even know it. So that's what I want to get into today, my friends. Female standards. But I had to say all of this to get to this point, because we need to understand what we're talking about when it comes to a female's modern thinking.
And we're talking about women that are financially stable, have educations, are beautiful, have their fathers in their lives, like come from nice families. Like, we're not talking about like a bum bitch. We're talking about like a very decent young lady. So I'll have conversations with my friends, and they'll say things like, oh, like, you know, I want him to make like at least $200,000 a year, like at minimum. He has to be in shape. Like, I really like a guy with a six pack. I love a guy who's like 6'2". I need a guy with like a full head of hair. Like, I can't do bald guys. Every single time you throw a new specification into what you desire, the only person that fits within the parameters of what you are looking for exists in your dreams. No, I've had girlfriends tell me like, oh my God, no, he's great, this and that, like, but I can't do a short king. So you're telling me you found a guy that's like not bad looking, has a great job with benefits, like financially stable, comes from a great family, and you can't do it because his legs aren't long enough, like, you bitches are out of your minds.
That's where we're at. And you're wondering why the relationship market is so messed up? And they blame it on men? It blows my mind, seriously. We got to call a spade at some point. We got to wake up, ladies, and realize that you're the problem. I don't like to blame, but you're the problem because you're putting these really unrealistic standards on men. Men cannot make any more than they're making. It's not like a man can go out and demand to make more money. You have entered the workplace. What do you think that has done to the workplace? More supply in the work environment means that salaries cannot increase because there are more people looking for the same job. But no, you want to be your boss B and you want to have your own money. Okay, now we're all in the workplace. The amount of workers that are looking for the same job has doubled because more and more of you ladies have gone into the workplace. Great for companies because they don't have to pay that much. But then now you're making 100,000. You want a man to make 200,000. How the hell he can make 200,000 if he has to compete with 100% more people in the workplace? The numbers are not freaking numbering. You got to understand that. Wow. Let's listen to some of these expectations from women.
Look, ladies, if you really have high standards, you will never have to tell a man. He will already intuitively know. Men can pick up on the fact whether or not women are within their standards fairly quickly. Take it from me, there's zero reason for you to shout your boundaries to the world. A woman with high standards carries herself with such a poise, and she has this energy that just speaks for itself. It's why I said men will just know intuitively. The girl who's always shouting about how she has such high standards and will never let a man do this or never let a man do that or break this or whatever the heck it is usually the first to break her own boundaries. We all know that girl. A high-value woman and a woman with high standards will not have to tell a man what he did wrong. She will simply leave. The need to chase a man when he pulls away absolutely repulses her. It's not a green light for her to try and prove her self-worth. So if you ever feel like you have to ask a man for princess treatment, you're not acting like a princess. So, be about your business. If he doesn't approach you, it's because he knows that you aren't within his reach. And that's fine because another man will step up to the plate. Just keep doing you.
Hear that word? Princess treatment. This is what is creating chaos in a lot of these women's head. Even when they have already gotten married, have 2 kids, created a great home with both of you paying into the mortgage, both of you have great jobs. I'm describing the guy from yesterday. Both of them have gone to college. Both of them are professionals. 2 beautiful, healthy kids. I want something different. I want something more. 6 months of separation and torture and pain for that man who has to go out and sell the house, move the kids in with his parents, making sure everything is split down the middle. 6 months later, she realized, oh shit, the branch that I monkey branched and caught onto, it broke. Oh shit, it broke. Guess what? She runs back. Oh, I think we should try again. I think we should try. Because of women like this who are telling other women that they need the princess treatment. Ladies, you don't get it. I hope that you all will share this with other women because you don't realize what you're doing to yourselves and doing to the relationship market.
When these women put on the long nails, the lashes, and the wigs, they literally transform into somebody else. Men like women who are natural.
Yeah, we don't even get an authentic woman. We get a clown. We get someone who puts on a freaking costume and then presents herself as if that's who she is. And apparently, with this costume, that is where she sees herself, and she now needs a man who's up there with her. A man that don't wear a costume. She can walk around all day in this bloody costume and she feels like that's who she is. That is the illusion. That is the problem. Then we get these kind of men here that reinforces the shit.
Your standards will always be too high for men too small to meet them. In order for them to feel satisfied in that relationship, you got to lower their standards for this man to feel more adequate. You got to pretend to be less strong in order for this man not to feel weak. You got to dim your light just so he feel like he can shine. Anytime you decide to become less of a woman to make this man feel more of a man, you lose. wrong with your standards besides you trying to force men to grow up in order to meet them? Some of you guys have the most reasonable standards in the world, that someone treats you fairly, that somebody is loving and present. Your standards ain't too much. It's just too much for toxic men that want to leech. They don't want to give. They just want to take. They want to break. They want to play. Ain't wrong with your standards besides you trying to force them on a man that clearly is incapable of living up to them.
If that's the type of man she picked initially, a toxic man, you need some help picking men. Because if a woman who has high standards, obviously this means that this is a woman who has a degree of understanding of life, right? Some sense of logic, some sense of understanding other people. If she goes and gets Pookie or Riri or Chad, somebody that's not giving shit all to her, she's just looking at the superficial crap. A man that's not providing anything to her, period, and where she now feels that she has to give everything. Of course, as a normal human being, when you can self-identify that, wow, this guy is sucking me, sucking. He's not contributing at all. Then you know you got a bad person. Just like if a man knows that if he gets a woman that's constantly sucking and not giving anything back to him, he should immediately identify that this is not a woman you need to be with. It works both ways, right? But we as adults, we should immediately identify that, hey, I'm giving everything. But in the same breath, you have to identify that, hey, man, this man is giving me a lot. This person is giving me a lot. If you cannot self-identify, self-reflect, and identify that, hey, I am not giving anything back, you're the problem. Am I aware enough to look at this person and say, hey, baby, is there anything I can do for you? You've done this for me. You did this for me. You're amazing. I love you. I want to do something back for you, and I want to make sure that I do it right. Tell me, how can I help? What do you need help with? You let me know. If you need anything, I'm here for you. That is how normal people operate in relationships. That's called effective communication between two adults. So when we come to unrealistic expectations from each other, then we need to realize that there's a serious communication problem. Because standards is simply about what can you do for me? That's it. Standards is about what am I bringing to the table? That's it. Those two things. A give and take. That's what standards are. And it doesn't have to be monetary. It could be emotional support. It could be physical support. Hey, you go and pick up the kids twice a week. I go and pick up your kids twice a week. A bad standard or a bad exchange is, hey, you keep doing all the work for me, and that's the standard I expect because I am amazing, and that's the princess treatment that you should be giving me. A princess really never gives anything back. That's the difference with princesses. Princesses just take. They don't give shit back. Nothing. A king, he's responsible for his whole freaking kingdom. The kingdom gives to him, and he serves back the kingdom. Understand the difference.
As women get older, their standards go up. You know, a woman that's over 30 is going to be very picky. She wants you to have a house, a car, credit, you know, take her to dinner, so on and so forth. So a guy that's operating in the dating space that wants a girl, he's naturally going to go for a girl that's younger. And it's not because of looks. And I'm going to circle back to this in a second, but because this girl's going to have less baggage, less ex-boyfriends, less trauma. She's going to be okay with a lot less. You know, she's not going to expect the dinners and the flowers. She might be okay with just taking a walk in the park or going for a hike or going to watch a movie. I'm just keeping it real. But personally, I feel like older women win in their presentation. Women that are, you know, over the age of 25, really, they're more filled out in their bodies. They put their makeup on better. They know how to operate and carry class. They are better conversationalists. They have a lot more life experience. They're much better in regulating themselves in more difficult situations. That's where you win. So when you demonstrate this value to a man and you're also more grateful to him when he does the right things, that is where you win, and that is where you outcompete these other girls. And look, if you're a younger girl, you're just going to get access to men very easily just by being young, by being energetic, by being positive, because you don't have the trauma, the pain, the past relationships as a lot of older women do. This is just the truth. But as an older woman, when you have this baggage, when you have this trauma, you must put that aside when you're meeting men and understand that you must present yourself effectively, communicate effectively. And that's where a guy's going to be like, look, This girl might be a few years older, but she has a lot more to offer in her personality. And if he's smart, if he's high quality, if he understands that you have value, he's going to go for you over the girl that's younger, because he's going to realize that I don't have to build this girl out. I don't have to mold her to who I am. She's ready to be a wife right now.
The brother is cooking. He's cooking. But the problem is the unrealistic standards that older women put on themselves. This is always the issue. It isn't the fact that you have standards. Standards are required. What level of standards do you have? That is the difference. If you're so unrealistic based on what you have accomplished in life, where you're literally just a narcissistic, self-centered person who thinks that life should give you everything because you work your ass off for it, that's not reality, my friend. Life don't really give a shit how hard you work. That's a cold, hard reality. The person don't care about how hard you work. What are you prepared to do with what you have worked hard for? Because if you work your ass off and you made $1 million and I'm not benefiting from it, do I give a shit if you freaking accomplish this? No, don't give a shit. It doesn't affect me. So that's what I mean by life don't really care what you have accomplished if it is not benefiting anyone else. If you work hard and you go and spend all the money on trips and traveling and jewelry and all of this shit for yourself, I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's benefiting you. Please understand this, ladies. So whatever you bring in your maturity at age 30, 40, 50, you better make sure that you take that life experience and convert it into something that you can bring healthy, wholesome to a man who wants what you have. Listen to that again. Who wants what you have. Because if he don't want what you have, it makes no freaking difference. You go put in fake titties, you put on a BBL, and he's not into that shit. He wants a natural woman. Doesn't freaking matter. You see the value, he doesn't. Your standards are going up. Doesn't matter. And that's why you remain single. Because you don't realize these standards that you have. These are just requirements. What can this person do for me? That's it. If those are what you're requiring and you're not contributing anything back, you're useless. Absolutely useless. And the same thing I can say for men. But the difference between males and females are men work hard so he can get a woman. Women work hard so they don't need a man. Understand that difference. That's why the same principles or standards do not apply to men. Because men have always dated down. Always, because it doesn't matter to him.
I think a lot of women don't understand that, and their dynamic between a man and themselves, that they're takers a lot of the time. So that's another reason I don't want to hang out with you, because I'm always in the red when I'm hanging out with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not even like a pleasurable experience like that. Like, goddamn, I always got to spend. I always got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, one thing that would make me look at a woman is like different and like kind of put her in a different is her willingness to try to save me money.
Yes,
now,
sir.
So, like, I give you an example. Like, we go out and be like, how much that is?
Maybe you gotta get that. Yeah.
I was like, I may still get it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you go. We live. We turn it up.
I done made a mental note.
Because she's considerate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I made a mental note. Yeah. She fuck with me. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I fuck with her. Yeah. But when you just cool, run that shit up. Run it up. Then you're not really considerate of me, so I probably won't want to hang around you that much. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? After a little bit, I'm expecting you to try to be a little bit considerate of me. Come on now.
So anytime you guys come about, well, all men are men standards and blah, blah. Men want simple, natural, submissive, kind, wholesome woman. Fit, friendly, feminine, agreeable. Nothing else than that. How can the standards get any lower than that?
Now, I personally only date generous men or men that are inspired to take care of me because I naturally am a nurturer. I'm going to take care of you. Whatever I see you need, I'm going to do. If your dishes aren't organized, I am going to organize them. If I feel like you need something business-wise and I can help, I am going to, or I'm going to find a way to help you. I feel like if I am in your life, I'm going to add value. Intentionally, I'm going to pay attention to where you don't even have to ask. If you need something, I got you. So I am only dating people who feel the same way. If you are not inspired to take care of me or to make sure that my life is easier by being around me, baby, you don't have anything for me. I don't have anything for you.
sometimes these women just need to shut up. Demonstrate instead of freaking advertising. Because we know advertisers are always lying, overinflating the freaking value. I only date generous men. In other words, Ninja, what are you doing for me? Because if you need your dishes rearranged.
Your dishes aren't organized, I am going to organize them. If your dishes aren't organized, I am going to organize them.
Whatever you need, if you need your dishes rearranged. Oh, I'm going to come with a house, a car, friggin' investments, paying for her trips, dinners, all of that shit. And she's saying, hey, if
your dishes aren't organized, I am going to organize them.
Oh, make that shit make sense. Oh, man. I can't say anything else about this. Guys, I'm going to finish it there, man. Listen, please, guys, give me a thumbs up on this one. Let me know, my friends, if you have that woman who has unrealistic standards. And ladies, let me know if you understand what I'm talking about. Let's have a conversation. I want to hear from you ladies. I need you to understand if you're not having success or you're not finding success in your relationship, you're the problem. You're the problem. Yeah, because that means that you're not attractive enough. I'm not talking about the cookie cutter, fake eyelashes, fake boobs, BBLs, freaking full-on costume, titties pushed up, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about a good person. If you're not, men are not going to stay around you. You will get dick down. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Every single woman nowadays is getting dick down. You're nothing special. And I mean from the most obese to the stick-thin crackhead on the friggin' street. They all getting dick down. Every single woman gets dick down if she wants to get dick down. So you're nothing special if you're getting dick down. Because that's what men do. Show me that left hand with that freaking diamond on it or that gold band on it. That's how we measure success with men. If you're not getting that, you're the problem. So my friends, listen, subscribe if you haven't already. Log in to askanolderman.com. Book a session with your most favorite older man. And of course, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.